Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Faith Fellowship's Daily Word of Encouragement. I have 3 keys this morning that I want to share with you to good communication. All of us want to communicate well with people. In fact, we have to. I don't know how you get around talking to people or having to communicate something verbally and even to respond to something someone may say to you. So, what's key to communication is really scripture. James, the Lord's brother, gives us a really good example. It could work at the church, it could work in the office place, it could work at home. Just 3 simple keys of communication. You've heard it many times, you've probably read it many times, but I just don't think we practice it enough. So James, the Lord's brother, gives us a great outline in James chapter 1. Let me read a little bit for you. It says, "My dear brothers and sisters," I'm talking to you. Take note of this. Let's take note of what James says. Everyone, that includes everybody, should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Those are 3 very important keys of communication. Being quick to listen, or a good listener, or an effective listener, someone who takes the time and cares enough to hear what you really have to say, versus trying to project ahead where they think you're going. We're all guilty of that from time to time. Instead of waiting to hear someone through, we very often determine what they're going to say. And many times that leads to the wrong response. We sometimes say things that people never really intended, or believe things that they never really intended to communicate. So being quick to hear is going to help you greatly. It's a skill. It's something learned. It's something that you have to practice. You have to quiet all of your impulses enough to say, I care what you're about to say, so I'm going to give careful attention to it. And listening has a posture. It's where you are in a position where someone thinks that you're really focusing on what they say. And it really opens the door to a better attitude when they're speaking to you. Second, being slow to speak. Being slow to speak means you have given careful consideration to what you're about to say. You're not just going to throw words out in the atmosphere just because you can. You're going to say something that correctly corresponds to what you heard them say. Remember, body language is important too. So, if you're going to speak, at least let it be accurate. And then, chances are, the 3rd key to this text may occur less, meaning you won't get angry as often because you listen well and maybe you have a better picture of what people are really trying to say. Now, the last element in this verse is this: so that you realize or understand that man's anger does not bring about God's righteousness or God's righteous desires. So, if you get angry because of what's said, chances are you're not going to end with a godly result. Man's anger, James, the Lord's brother, says, never brings about God's righteous desires. And I think James would probably know a little bit about what he's talking about. Being quick to hear, a good listener. Slow to speak means you heard very well. You heard them very accurately. So what you're about to say is very pertinent to what they said to you. And then, chances are, you'll get angry a lot less. And then, a lot of the time, you'll bring about God's righteous desires in every situation. So just take that word and use it. Apply it. I bet you it'll work in your home, it'll work at church, it'll even work in your workplace. Give it a shot. See what happens. God bless you.